Hey guys, I'm so excited to finally have time to finish out this series, and I know that you guys have been asking when will it be done, and it is today, guys. I finally had the time, so I'm excited to get going. You guys excited? Okay, so we left off at 37. Well, we finished with 37, so 38 is next, and so let's just dive right in. And number 38 is crowdsourcing content. And this is kind of like the brilliant lazy man's way, or lazy woman's way, to get awesome content, basically for very little work. So the way it works is that, two heads are better than one, 8 heads are better than 6. I don't know how far we want to take that metaphor, but basically, you want to find a group of people that you consider experts on a topic, and then ask them questions. Maybe one question, maybe 2 questions. And then basically that is going to be your blog post or your video, or the content that you're creating is going to be their answers. So it could be something like, what is your favorite way to generate leads? And you could ask, some really awesome marketers about it. Most people are going to be flattered by being considered an expert. So when you approach the people, you say, hey, I just have one quick question for you, and it's because I really admire you as a marketer, and make sure that they know that you're going to give them credit and links and all of that if they need it. Whatever they need, you're going to give that to them, and you're going to quote them, verbatim, and give them a link back to their site or whatever. And it's not like you're asking them to, please fill out this 10-page survey. You're just asking them for one quick answer to a question, or maybe 2 questions, right? And so then you're going to take the best responses from all the people that you ask. 9 times out of 10, they are gonna cooperate with you on this. Just trust me on this. And then you're going to take the best responses, and create your blog post or your video or whatever you're going to do with it, your big list post, give them the credit, and then you're going to tie it into your funnel. And so it's going to become this lead bait that's going to bring traffic to you. And basically all you're doing is just quoting a bunch of other people. So it's a cool way to generate leads, guys. Let's move on. Okay, so number 39 is bigger and better freebies. It used to be that you could give away anything and people were like, ooh, free, free ebook or free newsletter or free whatever, and they'd be really excited. But now it's been really done a lot, so the bar is really high. And so I said raise the bar, which means you have to go even higher than that. You don't want to be like the guy on Price is Right that the lady next to you says, oh, I think it's worth $300, and you say, well, I bet it's worth $301, right? You don't want to be that guy. You want to go way beyond, because if you don't, then the guy behind you is going to bet 302, and then you're just out of luck, right? So if you find a blog post online that's really useful, and let's say it's 20 amazing free internet marketing tools you should be using, right? You don't want to make it 21 on your blog post. You want to make it 50. You want more, bigger, better, going way beyond, going above and beyond, becoming the new resource. So if you're going to redo something, redo it really well. Really add a lot of value to it. And then I also said create something that people can actually use and come back to. So you want to create a resource, create something useful, something that you would use. And that means thinking, beyond a PDF file. It can be, tell them to give them a zip file. I'm going to give you all the emails that I used for my campaign. Or tell them, I'm going to give you this PowerPoint presentation so you can use it in your own video presentation, to get more leads. Or, you know what I mean? You can think outside of the normal freebies that are being given. Here, take these docs. These are these flyer templates I used, and they're amazing. Or take, And so you can give them something else. Even you guys in IC that are at the higher levels, you guys have free apps included. I think at the $3,500 level, you guys can give free access to your app. It's a huge incentive. Stuff like that. So a lot of stuff is amazingly not being utilized, and if you're the one giving it away, then if it's going to be useful to you, it's going to be useful to other people. So think, how useful is this going to be to me? Would this make me opt into a list? And just base it off of that. So let's move on. Okay, so number 40, teaming up. And so this is finding other people that are offering complementary products or services to yours and kind of teaming up with them. And that basically doubles your audience. They get to kind of be exposed to your audience and you get to be exposed to their audience. Well, actually, their audience gets exposed to you and vice versa. So you each have an audience and it should make sense. So you guys should have products that kind of complement each other or services that complement each other. So the most obvious example I can think of would be, if I have a blog about website design and you have a blog about, SEO, then my audience might be interested in how to make their websites that they're designing more SEO friendly. And your audience might be interested in knowing how to, make their SEO blogs less ugly, right? So we can both help each other, and our audience are going to be interested in the complementary nature of the other person's product or service, right? So that's the name of the game, and it should be mutually beneficial. So you can do it in a couple different ways. I mean, in lots of different ways. It can be mutual promotion, where I say, hey, check this out, and then my partner says, hey, check out Dolly. And then, or it can be packaging, which means, you and I offer a service together. I put my services in a package with your services and offer it, and then you do the same thing with my services and offer it for a special price or a special promotion. Or you guys can joint venture, which means like we're going to create something totally new together. We're going to team up to create something totally new and launch it together. So lots of cool ideas, lots of cool possibilities, lots of ways to generate leads. Okay, so number 41 is encourage referrals. And your customers, your current customers and your past customers are an excellent source of leads for you in the future. You should be encouraging referrals every step of the way with every method and platform that you use to generate leads. That means on your website, you should have a way where they can have a button where, they can just type in an email address and bam, we send an email out to them. You know what I mean? To the person that they just referred. Hey, recommend this to a friend. Here's an email, an email opt-in form. So you want to make it super easy. You can do that in your email campaigns, like even inside your emails. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it at any possible platform. There's a way to do it. You can give people 2 business cards when you meet them in the grocery store. Just say, hey, this one is for you. This one's for a friend. So you just want to ask people to refer you because, again, you have to ask people to do what you want them to do. You can't assume that they're just going to do it. Always ask, whether it's opting in or, buying the product or, whatever you want them to do, ask them to do it. And then consider offering an incentive. And so this is like, if I offer a subscription-based service, I can say, hey, refer 3 people and you get 1 month free on your subscription, So think about it and make sure that there's a good return on investment for you. But definitely referrals are the way to go. Encourage them, make it easy, and to get those leads, guys. Here we go. Okay, so being helpful. I actually have a couple different examples about this, and one of the things that I used to get a lot of leads by accident by doing this before I figured out that it's actually a really solid lead generation technique. And the way it works is that I would be reading people's blogs or visiting people's websites, checking things out, doing research online, and I'd be on somebody's blog and, their site would be messed up. There would be something wrong. They'd have like, a broken link or a broken opt-in form or, something like that. And I would send them an email. And only because, as a person with my own website, I thought, I'd want to know. So I'm sure they want to know. So I'd just send them a quick email through their contact form saying, hey, just a heads up, you have a broken link here or whatever it was. And I got so many leads from that. It was amazing. And so one example was that there was a guy, I was reading his blog, and it was a small business, and I sent him an email and I said, hey, just so you know, it looks like your WordPress has been hacked. And, you should get somebody to check it out because, I can tell that your WordPress has been hacked. And so he sent me an email back and he said, well, how do you know? And I said, well, because I'm a web designer, and I gave him a couple different ways that he could tell. Well, he sent me an email back and he said, well, can I hire you to fix it? And I said, sure. He goes, oh, well, send me an invoice. So I made a sale, just by sending an email, just giving a guy a heads up to be helpful, right? And it happened a lot. Sometimes it came in other benefits also, apart from just leads. Sometimes it's getting in touch with people that are influencers, people that, can help you in the industry. So another example was that I have one of my favorite bloggers in the world. I won't say his name because he's going to be embarrassed. He posted one day, and I was excited because I had email notifications, and I got his post, and I was excited. I was like, oh, this is going to be a great post. So I clicked through, and then I saw his post was all messed up, and I was like, oh, gosh, I don't think he knows that his post formatting is all messed up, and and I put myself in his shoes, and I thought, man, I would be so embarrassed. I'm sure he doesn't know. So I sent him an email, not really expecting to hear back. And I just said, hey, just heads up, your post formatting is messed up. Well, like 2 minutes later, I get an email back from him, and he's like, oh my gosh, thank you. And he had fixed it. So after that, due to that, later on, a few months later, I was able to send this man an email and get a very thoughtful, insightful email back with very helpful advice that really helped me to advance in my career. And it was based on this contact that basically started by just me trying to be helpful, right? So 5 minutes, guys, 5 minutes can really change a lot. And one thing I said here, and I'm moving on, I promise. So take 5 minutes to do something nice for someone online. You can do it every day. Just take 5 minutes to do something, just not with the intention of getting leads necessarily, but just being helpful. So, and I said also, don't charge for every bit of help or advice that you give. And I think this is very important because as people get higher and higher up in internet marketing, sometimes they get to the point where they're like, oh, I charge $300 an hour for consulting, and which is great. But if you get to the point where you can't answer a simple question for someone, if you're free and somebody that asks you a question and it takes 5 minutes to answer them, then I think you should answer them. That's just my opinion. I think it's good internet karma. And that's what it is. And so I said, help people that are bigger and people that are smaller too. And not that they're smaller people, but help people that are further along than you on the journey, and help people that are, not as far along as you on the journey also. So make it even out there. And then I said amazing things come from this because I just really believe that. Okay, I'm moving on, I promise. Okay, so number 43 is be a mentor and get a mentor. And I'm actually going to do a video about this because this is such an amazing, powerful thing that I think everybody should do. So I'm not going to go really deep into this, guys, because I really want to do a video about this. But it really is the most amazing way to network. And so many leads I've gotten from this, from both being an apprentice under a mentor and mentoring other people. So this is not only lead generation, this will change your whole career and the whole trajectory of where you're going. It's an amazing tool, and I think in its best form, it's also free. So definitely look forward to that video. So I'm gonna move on. I promise. Okay, so number 44 is go back to the well. So the most qualified leads you have are the people that already bought something for you. Don't forget about them. It's not like, oh, you bought something, thanks so much for your money, and then you just watch them ride off into the sunset. No, your funnel should never end, guys. There should always be something, the next step for them, something that they can aspire to buying. Your funnel should go so high that you don't think anybody can get to the top of it. That's what it should be. You should have, at the end of your product, at the end of your funnel, you should have something that costs an amount that you just think nobody is ever going to be able to pay. That's what it should be. So it should be stepping up until it gets to the end. And at the end, you should have the most expensive product in your funnel, and it should be priced where your fantasy goal, would be. Is it what is it, guys? Is it $10,000? Is it $100,000? Yeah, dream big. Make it reasonable. Your funnel should step up slowly to whatever your final goal is. But once somebody reaches that final goal, guess what? It needs to go higher, right? So if your funnel right now ends at $10,000 and somebody buys that $10,000 product, then guess what? You need to go higher, guys. You need to have something ready for them that's going to go next milestone is, $12,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 or $100,000, right? So you need to be able to keep stepping up. So your funnel right now, because obviously it has to end, it can't just count to zillion dollars, right? You don't have to invest all this time creating an endless funnel, but you do need to have an end of a funnel that has a price point that you have not attained yet from a client. That's the goal. So, and then so your current customers and your past customers, you need to have contact with them, ongoing contact. What have they heard from you lately? What are you offering them now? What perks do they have from being your clients today, right? Even though they bought a month ago, what are they getting from you now? What kind of perks? What are you offering? What are you pitching them with now? What's going on? So checking in with them, letting them know that you appreciate them, giving them a freebie, following up with them, getting feedback from them. They're a huge resource. So don't just let them again, ride away into the sunset. Okay, so recycle and remarket. One of the very trendy things to do is to repurpose things. So like repurposing furniture and materials like that. You could also do that with content. So if you have, let's say that a year ago you wrote a blog post and it was a huge deal and you got a ton of traffic for it and it was a big hit, you can take that blog post and you can cut it up and you can make it into a PowerPoint presentation and you can make it into a video, right? And then you've given it new life. You've launched it onto a new platform, in a new kind of media for a new audience. And, but you didn't have to actually really create anything new. You just repurposed the information that you already had, right? So take your best content and repurpose it and recycle it, or add on to it and then launch it again, right? And the other thing I said here is syndicate your content. Syndicating content is a whole other subject, and you guys should really look into it, like article marketing, all of that. Very, very useful stuff, but I can't get into it right now because it's too deep. It's too deep and too wide. Let's go. Okay, so reverse engineer it. Reverse engineering is when you look at a finished product or something that's complete, and then you basically take it apart and you go back in time and you try to figure out how it got to that stage, right? So if you're talking about MLM, you have to think about, how did you get recruited? What was important to you? What sealed the deal? What made up your mind? If it's about a product, you have to think about, well, first of all, you obviously should not be selling anything that you don't believe in and that you wouldn't buy personally or that you don't think is valuable, right? So I think personally, I would always have to buy a product before I could sell it to somebody else, just to, put my hands on it or to really use it before I try to sell it to anybody else. But that's just me. But I do think that you have to be solidly believe that you have a quality product before you sell it. So you have to think about, what sold you on the product? What made you want to buy it? Or look at sales that people that you've sold on it before. Talk to them. What sealed the deal for them? And find out what made that sale happen, what went into that sale, or what made into that recruitment, if it's for MLM. And then ask yourself, can you recreate that? Can you massively multiply and duplicate that to be able to do it over and over again? And so then the other thing to do with reverse engineering is that you can stalk successful marketers and kind of take apart in that same way what they're doing and what's working for them, and really, just dig in and take it apart and then put it to work for yourself to generate leads. Okay, so I have one more, and it's promoting your downlining clients. This one is a lot about branding. This is really about branding and about promoting yourself as opposed to promoting the people above you or the product creators. I said don't promote above your head and don't promote laterally. So don't promote, if you're an MLM, don't promote your team leaders or what they're doing, and don't promote the guy that's at the same level that you're at that doesn't that you don't benefit from directly. It's one thing to be supportive. It's another thing to promote and give your leads away to other people, right? So know the difference between teamwork and working for your upline. You should be working for yourself. We're all in business for ourselves. So promote your downline success as social proof as opposed to promoting your upline success. A lot of affiliate marketers will come and they'll say, hey, look at these, and they'll point to the product creators and be like, look, this guy made, $400,000 in a week off this product. You don't want to talk about that guy, to sell the product. You want to talk about, Joe Schmo or Sally or whoever the buyer was, and talk about how it changed their lives and how it enhanced something or solved a problem for them, right? So you always want to be promoting your client, and you want to be promoting the benefits down the line as opposed to the people above you, right? So promote your brand and your product above all. And that's just really about branding yourself and, carving out your own space online as opposed to, because when you first started internet marketing, and this has been said by much better internet marketers than me, you're really just pointing the way, right? So you're just pointing the way. Your job is to just be a sign and just point to that good product or point to that good opportunity, right? But eventually you want to be that good product. You want to be that good opportunity. You want to be at the top of the chain, right? So that's what branding's all about. Definitely brand yourself and carve out your own little space online for yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this series, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of cool videos planned for the next couple of weeks, so I'm excited to do new stuff. And also, if you click in the description, there is a link to opt in to my campaign, and I have a bunch of freebies that some cool stuff. Actually, I'm going to give away this PowerPoint presentation as well because I've had some requests for it. So I will talk to you guys soon, and yeah, if I can work this thing again, man, I'm telling you, this thing kills me every time. Am I gonna get lucky this time, guys? What do you think? There it goes.